Good morning, children. Welcome to my channel, Max Learning, classes 11 and 12. This channel aims at teaching basic topics of Max for classes 11 and 12 from the board examination point of view. As this is my first video, I am going to start with class 12, and the name of the lesson is Relations and Functions. Now I am very sure that relations and functions, this chapter you have learnt in your class 11. This year also we are going to continue with the same lesson, but we are going to learn little more higher concepts related to relations and functions. Children, before actually going into the lesson of relations and functions, in this video I would like to revise some basic concepts which we require for learning relations and functions. So you can consider this as a basic concept revision video for the lesson relations and functions. So the first basic concept which we should know is nothing but the concept of sets. Sets is also, or set is also, a very familiar word to you. You have learned this in class 11. A set is defined as a collection of well-defined objects. I repeat, a set is defined as a collection of well-defined objects. Now what do you mean by collection? Collection means one or more things you are gathering together, right? So set is a collection of well-defined. Now what does well-defined means? Well-defined means it helps us in deciding whether a particular object belongs to the collection or not. Well-defined means that we can definitely decide whether a given object belongs to the collection or not. For example, if I am given a collection of all the months of a year, and I am asked to check whether it is a set or not. So if I have collection of all the months of a year, children, then in this collection, what all can the answer come? The answer can be all months starting from January, February till December, right? These are the only 12 months which we have, and so in this collection we have these objects coming under this collection, right? So you have seen before, I have said set is a collection of well-defined objects, right? So here you can see that in these objects in this collection, which are months of a year, are well defined and it forms a collection. So this is forming a set. Okay, so now how do I write a set? A set is denoted by one of capital letters from A to Z, and an is equal to is put, and a brace bracket or curly bracket is put, and the elements of the set are separated by commas. So this is the notation for representing a set, and every element is identified as members of the set, and every elements are separated from each other by commas. Now if technically speaking, if I want to represent a member of a set, member belonging to a set, then I am going to write using a symbol called, Greek symbol called epsilon, right? So how do I write? I will write here January belongs to A. I hope you are familiar with this symbol. Similarly, I can write February belongs to A, December belongs to A. So that this is how we write an element belonging to a set. Okay, so we are done with the element of a set and how to represent a set. Now if suppose an element does not belong to a set, you know that the symbol used is epsilon, and you just cancel it like this. Okay, so this means that an element does not belong to a set. This is all you must have no, you must have recalled when I have used these terms, right? Now, children, you can have many other examples, many more examples of sets. For example, sets of even numbers, sets of natural numbers, sets of real numbers, and so on. Now, if you remember, you must have used these terms, right? Z, right? Z is used to represent the set of integers. R is to represent the set of real numbers. Q is to represent the set of rationals. Q star is used to denote the set of irrationals. You have N used to represent the set of natural numbers. These are general notations of these big sets. Okay, natural numbers, irrational numbers, rational numbers, you have real numbers, and you have integers. Okay, now you also know that a set can be represented. Okay, a representation of sets or a representation of elements of a set can be done in two forms. First one is called as the roster form or tabular form, and the second form is called as the set builder form. Okay, it's called as set builder form. So now what is roster form? Roster form is a set in which the elements are written explicitly. For example, if I am asked to write the collection of natural numbers, if I am asked to write the collection of natural numbers less than 10. Okay, collection of natural numbers less than 10. Then how it will appear in roster form? Collection of natural numbers less than 10. So how it is going to appear in roster form? In roster form, the answer to this question is, suppose this time I am using the symbol B. B is equal to less than 10. So you can have natural numbers starting from 1 till number 9. Okay, so these are roster form. Now, when you are asked the same question to be written, when you are asked to write the same question in the set builder form, how do I write? I will write it in the form of a rule. So set builder form is also called as rule form. So I can write like this: B is the collection of all x such that value of x is 1 less than or equal to x less than, strictly less than 10. That means it's a two-step answer, right? The first step you have to think what the answer should be, and in the second step the answer will come as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So set builder form is not a direct answer, or it doesn't directly give an answer. You take 1 minute or you take 2 steps to think and then write the answer, whereas in roster form it is not like that. In the roster form the elements are written explicitly. So this is how the set is represented in two forms. One is roster form and one is the set builder form. Now after this you have to learn, or you have to revise, what are the different types of sets. So next topic is types of sets. Okay, types of sets. There are 4 different types of sets. Okay, first one is an empty set. Another one you have singleton set. Third one you have finite set. And the fourth one you have infinite set. So let us see or revise one by one. Empty set is a set which does not have any elements. Okay, empty set is a set which does not have any elements. Empty set is also called as null set. It is also called as a void set. VOID, void set. Okay, and it is represented by 5. It is represented by the symbol 5, or you can just put brace brackets, or just put brace brackets with no elements being written inside it. The second one is singleton set. Okay, a singleton set is a set which will contain only one element. For example, I have a set like this, and inside that I have only one element, or I can have a set like this, only one element. So these are all singleton sets because it contains only one element. The third one is finite set. Now set is said to be finite if you are able to count the elements of the set. For example, you just look at this B. If you look at the set B, the elements of the set are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in all there are 9 elements. So you can count the members of the set and very well see the members of the set. So it is a finite set. Now what is an infinite set? Infinite set is the set in which there are non-ending elements. For example, if I have the set of natural numbers, if I start with the set of natural numbers, it will start with 1. Okay, it started 1, 2, 3, 4 and it will go on till lakhs, millions, crores and so on, right? So it is an infinite set because we don't know the last element of this set. So children, there are 4 types of sets: empty set, null set, void set. Okay, all 3 are 1. Then you have second one, singleton set. Third one you have finite set. And the fourth one you have infinite set. Okay. Now next thing which you should recollect is nothing but cardinality of a set. Okay, cardinality of a set. Now cardinality of a set is very important. Cardinality of a set means number of elements in a set. Cardinality of a set means number of elements in a set. Okay, so let us go through all the examples and let us try to find out the cardinality of the set. Now if you look at this set, which is a collection of all the months of the year, you can see that there are 12 months. There are 12 months. So the number of elements in the set are 12. So the cardinality of this set will be 12. Now how do you write cardinality? You have to write the small letter n. Inside that you are going to write the name of the set, put an equal to sign. So this is cardinality of your set A. Now if I come here, if I look at set B, I can see that there are 9 elements here. So cardinality of set B is 9. Now these two both are same. So here also cardinality of set B is 9. Is that clear? Now, if I look at the set of natural numbers, children, you can see that I have a lowest element, but I don't have a greatest element, right? So the cardinality of an infinite set cannot be known. So that's why, children, cardinality of an infinite set is not defined because you don't know how many elements are there. So cardinality of an infinite set is not defined. Okay, now coming back to empty set. Now how many elements are there in empty set? In empty set, children, there are no elements, right? So therefore cardinality of empty set is 0. And also remember that, children, empty set is always considered by default finite set. Okay, it is never considered as infinite set. Only thing is it does not have elements, but we take empty set as a finite set. So these are all the revision points of sets. You have a set, you have the representation of a set, you have elements of a set, you have different representation of a set, roster form, set builder form, you have types of sets, and you have cardinality of a set. Okay. Now the next topic which is required for relations and functions, which is most important for relations and functions, is nothing but Cartesian product. Okay, so the next topic which I would like to revise is Cartesian product. Okay, now Cartesian product, as the name suggests, you are going to take product. Now product of what? Product of 2 sets. So I am going to revise Cartesian product of 2 sets. So as the name suggests, first of all I should have 2 sets. Now before actually going into Cartesian product, one more thing which we should know about is nothing but ordered pair. Okay, before knowing Cartesian product, I should know something called as ordered pair. Okay, so what is an ordered pair? Let us see that. Okay, an ordered pair is a pair of entries. A pair of entries in specified order. Pair of entries in the specified order. Okay, the 2 entries are separated by a comma and enclosed within brackets. For example, if I have 2 members, say A and B. Okay, so ordered pair says that you have to separate them by comma and put it in a bracket. Here A is called as first component of the ordered pair and B is called as the second component of the ordered pair. Okay, so ordered pair is of ordered, all the ordered pairs will appear like this. Okay, now when are 2 ordered pairs equal? If I have 2 ordered pairs, say AB and CD, is very trivial or obvious that 2 ordered pairs will be equal if A is equal to C and B is equal to D, right? Similarly, if I have 2 ordered pairs of the type A comma B, and order type B comma A. So that means I have just exchanged the position. So if I want them to be equal, then what should happen? A should be equal to B, then only AB will be same as BA. If and only, it is rather an if and only if condition. Both of them are very important. So it is if and only if, means the forward implication and the backward implications are true. If A and C and B and D are same, that means AB is same as BD. And the second one says that if A is same as B, then again the ordered pair has to be same. So this is your ordered pair. Now we are going to use this ordered pair to define the Cartesian product of two sets. Okay. So Cartesian product of two sets. Before this, I will give you an example. So we can very well easily define the Cartesian product of set. Okay. So Cartesian product. So for Cartesian product, I am taking two sets. Now I am going to take product means I should have minimum two sets. So let us start with minimum two sets. Let A be a set and the elements of it be say 1, 2 and 3. Okay, I'm going to take a set B and the elements of the set B are say 5 and 6. See, the elements can be repeated. It's not that you can't repeat the elements. Okay, so Cartesian product. Okay, the Cartesian product, you know that it's multiplication sign, right? It is cross. So we read it as A cross B. Cartesian product of A with B now is, see this what I am writing. It is 1, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5, 2, 6, 3, 5, 3, 6. Okay. So this set I will define as Cartesian product of A and B. So what I can look from here? I can look from here that in the Cartesian product, what I have is ordered pairs. Okay, and just now we have seen ordered pairs. In the ordered pairs, the first element comes from the first set. And I can see here the second element is coming from the second set. You can see, check, right? 1 is coming with 5, 1 is coming with 6, 2 is coming with 5, 2 is coming with 6, 3 is coming with 5, 3 is coming with 6. That means, children, in the Cartesian product A cross B, it is a collection of all ordered pairs. That is true. But in the ordered pair also, the first component should come from first set and the second component should definitely be coming from the second set. So you can see that, children, if I am writing B cross A, then what will happen? It will be reverse, right? It will be 5, 1. Okay. It will be 5, 2. It will be 5, 3. It will be 6, 1. It will be 6, 2. And it will be 6, 3. Again, you have 6 elements, right? So in general, I can define Cartesian product as Cartesian product of A cross B is the collection of all ordered pairs A comma B such that A is coming from A and B is coming from my second sets. Okay, now here one more thing I can see here, children. Cardinality of A is 3 and cardinality of B is 2, right? So cardinality of A into cardinality of B is 3 into 2. So that comes out to be 6, and 6 is nothing but cardinality of A cross B. So here I get a definition, right? Cardinality of A into cardinality of B is equal to cardinality of A cross B. I hope you have understood Cartesian product. It is very simple. When we are going to solve examples, you will understand better. But for time being, you just revise the concept of Cartesian product. Now, there are certain important results related to the Cartesian product. For example, the first result says that if A is empty set, okay, if your set A is empty set, and if your set B is also empty set, then what will happen to A cross B? A does not have any elements, B does not have any elements. So it is sure that A cross B is going to be empty set and B cross A is also going to be empty set, right? If both are empty, there is no choice. The A cross B, B cross A has to be empty set. Now the second result says that if A cross B is not equal to empty set, A cross B is not empty set, then what will happen? This will happen if and only if A is non-empty and B is non-empty. A should be non-empty and B should be non-empty. Third result says that if your A cross B is same as B cross A cross B will be same as B cross A if and only if your set A will be same as set B. Okay, so these are the results, very important results related to Cartesian product. If both are empty sets, the Cartesian products, both the ways will be empty set. If Cartesian product is non-empty, means both the sets should be non-empty. And the third one says that if two Cartesian products are same, that means it is Cartesian products with the same sets. I hope you have understood this video, children. These are the basic concepts which we require for learning our lesson, relations and functions. I hope I have revised properly the basics, that is sets, ordered pairs and Cartesian product. So with this basic knowledge, we can proceed to the chapter relations and functions. So next time when I meet, make sure that you go through this basics and then I will start fresh with relations and functions. We can move on with the actual topic. Children, since this is my first video, if you liked it, please subscribe it, and please subscribe it by pressing the bell button so that whenever I upload a video, you will get a notification of the latest videos. Thank you.